I've never cared for writing down my thoughts. I never kept a diary. I saw no point in it. I guess I never really had anything interesting to write down anyways. I guess you could call this a change of heart. But I wouldn't be writing all of this down if I didn't have to. My thoughts, my experiences, my life, they're all mine, with the exception of the latter point, because at this point, my life belongs to the Florida State Prison. Although it seems, as of late, that my life is in the hands of something much more, which is why I'm writing all of this now. There is 2 hours to go. I don't know how long this is going to be, so forgive me if any of this seems a little rushed. I guess I should have started by giving my name, which is Travis Parnell. You might have heard of me if you're a longtime resident of the Sunshine State. Yeah, I'm the guy that, according to the state attorney, brutally, savagely, and without remorse murdered 7 innocent women and horrifically maimed 4 more. Yeah, I'm the guy they called Florida's Jack the Ripper. And it's all true. Why should I deny it now? Hell, I didn't deny it in court. In fact, I guess you could say that I was proud. And why shouldn't I be? I had found my calling in life and I had acted on it. Everybody has a calling in life. Everyone has a chosen profession. Serial killers are no different. It's just that our chosen profession is frowned upon by the rest of society. But none of that matters now. I digress. Anyways, I know why I'm here. I suppose I deserve to be here, but I only deserve to be here once. I have one life, and according to the laws of the Sunshine State, I owe the families of my victims my life. The problem is, and this is the main reason for me writing this, is that I've been on death row and have been executed 6 times now. 6 times I've lived the last hours of my life. 6 times I made the walk to the death chamber. 6 goddamn times I've been strapped to that gurney and injected with death's cocktail. This is probably the moment where you're ready to check out in disbelief. Oh, just another death row inmate resorting to dramatics in his final hours. Probably what you're thinking, right? Well, allow me to fill you in on the details. Leading up to the first time, I knew that it was coming. I saw no point in pitching a fit or resorting to dramatics. I knew I deserved what I had coming, and I accepted it. The execution was set to take place at midnight, September 20th. I would be let out of my cell at 11:45 p.m. It takes around 5 minutes to walk to the chamber, the longest 5 minutes of one's life, though it has seemed to go by a lot quicker the next few times. But the first time, 5 minutes felt like an eternity, and I would be lying if I wasn't a little scared. I mean, who wouldn't? In only a few minutes, my life would be no more. I would cease to exist. I would be a corpse on an autopsy table, and then be dumped into a coffin or stuffed into an oven, and I would be gone from the world. I wish it had been that simple. Around 11:50, me and officers Larry, Mo, and Curly, as I liked, sorry, I like to call them, along with Warden Garlic Breath, who clearly has never heard of the idea called personal space, made our way to the death chamber. Of course, the first thing that my eyes saw was the gurney, or the bed, or whatever you want to call it. That was where I was going to die. They strapped me down with more straps than were probably necessary, But precautions, you know. 11:55 came and I was injected with something that was supposed to induce unconsciousness. Note how I said, supposed to. I passed out, but I knew how the process would go. Thanks to Officer Mo, who had filled me in on how the procedure went. Once midnight hit, death's cocktail, as Mo and I call it, would pass through the tubes and needle already in my arm. And that would be it. It would take maybe a minute or two before my heart would stop. But I would be unconscious anyways. At least that's how it's supposed to work. I don't know what the problem was, but right as death's cocktail made its way from the tubes into my left arm, I woke up. I remember hearing Officer Curley yell, "Christ, he's awake!" And the warden telling, not yelling, telling him, "It's too late to do anything." It became hard to breathe, so hard that I started to lunge my body forward as much as I could, gasping for air. My chest felt tight. It felt like my whole body was under pressure, as if I was in the grasp of a python constricting my body. It was agony, and it felt almost as long as the walk from my cell to the death chamber, which was now living up to its name. And then there was nothing. Everything stopped. I saw nothing. I felt nothing. Hell, I was nothing. And then I woke up and I was back in my cell. Had I survived? Was the execution a failure? They had to have put me back in my cell. It had to have been a failure. Were they gonna try again? I mean, they would have to try again. That old wives' tale about releasing prisoners if they had survived being put to death was exactly what it was. An old wives' tale. And then Officer Mo walked by my cell. I asked what had happened with the execution. What went wrong? And was it gonna happen again? He looked at me like I was crazy. He looked me dead center and said, "You've still got 2.5 hours to go, Parnell." And then he proceeded to tell me how the death sentence would be carried out, how the procedure would work, just like he had before. They had to have been pulling me along in some sick joke. Or maybe the failed execution had been all a dream and this was reality. Sure enough though, everything that happened the first time happened again. 11:45 p.m. Officers Larry Moan Curley and Warden Garlic Breath arrive at my cell. 11:50 p.m. We arrive at the death chamber after the 5-minute eternity walk, which albeit felt a little shorter. 11:55 p.m. Needle pierces the skin of my left arm. I pass out from the sedative. Maybe this time things would go okay. That last time had to have been a dream, a nightmare no doubt. A quick and painless death is what awaited me. Not. Midnight struck. Death's cocktail entered my bloodstream and I woke up. Gasping for air, lunging, heaving, looking for any kind of relief. Feeling the pressure, the constriction of my body. Talk about deja vu. It hadn't been a dream that first time. Or if it was a premonition of some sort. A minute passed and I was once again dead. And there was once again nothing. And once again, I awoke in my cell. Once again, Officer Mo would stop by my cell. 2.5 hours to go, Parnell, he would once again say, which he would follow up with telling me, once again, The details of the procedure that was supposed to end my life once and for all. Those 2 times, they couldn't both be dreams, could they? Or maybe they were. How the hell was I supposed to know? But this would be the 3rd time, and the 3rd time's always the charm, right? Wrong. 11:45 p.m. Taken out of my cell. 11:50 p.m. We make it to the death chamber. Again, the walkover felt shorter. 11:55. The needle and the sedative. I momentarily pass out, and then midnight comes, followed by a death cocktail. Followed by me waking up and dying a slow and painful death. And then we would start again. Or maybe it was a reset. I don't know. All I know is that I then went through this a 4th time. 11:45 out of my cell. 11:50, we arrive at the chamber. Again, the walk felt shorter this time, probably shorter than the last. 11:55, the needle and the sedative. I pass out and midnight comes. Death's cocktail. I wake up, can't breathe, tight chest, body feels like it's constricting. I once again suffer a painful death, followed by nothingness, followed by me waking up, followed by 2.5 hours to go, Parnell. And then the 5th time starts. You know by now how it goes. Everything goes the same as the last 4 times. Again, with a much shorter walk to the chamber than the last. The 6th time starts. Everything goes the same as the last 5 times. Again, with a much shorter walk from my cell to the chamber. The first time, the walk felt like an eternity. On the 6th go-around, it didn't even feel like 5 minutes. It went by quicker than snapping your fingers. And here I am now. I've now got about an hour and a half to go. It's been 30 minutes since I started writing this. An hour since I woke up, once again. Also an hour since Officer Mo stopped by my cell to once again tell me that I had 2.5 hours to go, and the details of the death procedure. This will be my 7th time. My 7th time being let out of my cell. My 7th time making the walk to the chamber, which will feel like nothing. My 7th time being strapped to that gurney. My 7th time passing out momentarily. The 7th time for death's cocktail to make its way into my bloodstream. A 7th time waking up. And well, you know the rest. Look, I know what I did was wrong. Despite how proud I was of carrying out my calling, I do know that it was wrong. On death row, you pay your debts with your life. I accepted that, but I did not expect this. I didn't expect to keep paying back my debt to society over and over again. I deserve to die, but I only deserve to die once, because once is all there's supposed to be. We're only supposed to live and die once. I've died 6 times and it's about to be 7. I've paid what I owed, and that should have been the end of it. The pain I felt whilst on that gurney, it's a pain that no one should ever feel. For me, it's at least a pain I should have only felt once. The nothingness that I felt afterwards, that's something that I should have felt only one time. But then again, if there is a hell, I suppose that this is it. To relive the last hours of your life over and over again. To relive your excruciating death over and over again. If there's a hell, that's it. At this point, I don't know if any of this is real or not. Maybe I am in hell, and reliving all of this in my eternal torment. If this is all real, then it's certainly something that's beyond my understanding. I've tried to tell the guards and the warden, and of course I knew they wouldn't believe me. Dramatics from an inmate in his final hours, remember? It's now 11 o'clock. Larry, Moe, and Curly along with the warden will be here in 45 minutes, and then we'll make the even shorter walk to the death chamber. In 50 minutes, we'll be arriving. 55 minutes and I'll be strapped down, getting ready to pass out from the sedative. And an hour from now, I'll be waking up and struggling with death for a 7th time. I don't know or care if you believe me or not. If this is hell, then this letter won't matter a damn bit. But if this is real and you found this letter, all I ask is that you make sure everything goes how it should during the execution. I don't want to have to go through that pain anymore. Just make sure that I stay unconscious. Let me go peacefully is all I ask. Maybe I don't deserve it, but if you have gone through what I have, well, let's just say that I hope you would understand.